Hey, family, it's Reverend Jocelyn, and welcome to another episode of Reverend Jocelyn Talks, where I have the opportunity to connect with amazing women of God who they're doing their thing in the world, whether it's through a kingdom business, whether it's through their ministry, but whatever they're doing, they're seeking to make impact in this world. And we want to have them come on stage and share their story with you to encourage you, to educate you, so you can answer that call as well. And so today I'm excited to welcome to the show an amazing woman of God who said yes. And she has such a journey in terms of growing her business from like a simple idea to now something that's helping people across the world. I wanted to make sure I had her on the show today. And so I'm very excited to welcome to the show Johane Herard. And she is a sister who is a purpose-driven entrepreneur who has taken this candle making business and not only now is making candles, but she's coaching others on how to do it as well. And so she's going to share her powerful testimony with us today. And I'm so excited to have her here. Welcome, Joanne. I'm so glad to have you here with me on the show.
Thank you, Reverend Jocelyn. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for having this platform where someone like me can share the story about how God has been, moving in my life and my business and my family's life.
Yes. Oh, well, I was glad that you accepted the invitation. And before we talk about like all the great things that's happening in your actual business, I want people to know who you are. Like what was life like even before you became a kingdom entrepreneur?
Um, I I always knew God, but I didn't have a relationship with Him. So, you know how sometimes you go through life and that's when you see God, and something happened to me. It was a family issue where I needed God really to intervene. And that's when my relationship has really grown with them. So I want to say I'm a people person. I love people, especially my family, the people around me. If I'm doing good, I want the people around me do good as well. That can, show a soft side of me sometimes, but I'm also a very sure entrepreneur. I know what I want, and I don't. A no, it's not gonna stop me. When I get no's, I get curious. So I love God. I'm a woman of faith, and yeah, in a nutshell, that's me.
Oh, I really like that. That you said when I get a no, I get curious versus discouraged. I'm gonna use that. That is great. And so something happened in your world that led you to step out into entrepreneurship. And I don't think it was planned, if my memory serves me correctly. So tell us kind of what led you into doing your business.
I always dream about having my own business, but it was never working for me. So just to go back a little bit, I'm from Haiti. So when I moved here, even though I had a job, but I always had this dream to own my own business one day. So while I was working, I was trying to, start different businesses, different venture. It wasn't working, and in the meantime, I kept being laid off. With my jobs, right? But I was fine because I always had my husband's support. But in 2020, so in 2019, sorry, after I got my daughter, I got laid off, right? And that's when I realized, oh, this is not a life that you can bring a child into, right? So that's when I decided to do a 14-day fast, because that same year I learned about how fasting can, help you, can change your life. I'm like, oh, I want to try that, because where I'm at right now, I have a child. I can't even take care of it, and I can't keep a job. Nothing was working for me financially. Uh, I want to say I was broke, right? So I decided to do this 14-day fast to ask God for guidance. During the 14 days fast, I felt like God was telling me to start a candle business. I was like, a candle business? I don't think this is for me. I don't see any connection with me and candles. And after a couple of days, I'm like, you know what? I've tried everything on my own and nothing never works. If I felt in my heart that God is telling me to start a candle business, I'm going to do just that. So it took me a year of testing and learning the business, because I didn't know about making candles before. I never made a candle before, so it really took me a long time. And I launched my business in 2020. So I always tell people this is the idea of me owning a scented candle business right now. It's just God. I also believe that, the blessing was there, but it just needed a vessel for the blessing to come through me and my family. So we decided to use candle. God, He's in control. He can do whatever he wants. So that's how I started in the candle business. And I've been making candles since 2020 till now. And that's what I do full time.
Oh, that is encouraging. Imma tell you why. For one, you knew nothing about how to make a candle. So you went from, like, scratch, like, "I have this idea, Imma figure it out." Very humble beginnings. And I actually had the pleasure of having you talk to my marketplace ministry mastermind members where we help women to start their kingdom businesses. You came and blessed them yesterday, and one of the things that I appreciated was you were sharing a little bit about, like, how those humble beginnings
Mm.
looked. Like, you didn't have, like, this massive place where you were working out of. No, it was, like, humble beginnings. So talk a little bit about that.
Yes, I'm glad that you're saying that humble beginning because it was tough. It was hard because I'm the kind of person I like to be in control. I plan my month, I plan my day. This is how things are gonna go. And when you're walking with God, He's the one in control, right? And it was hard for me to let Him enter in my life, in my business, and take control. We used to fight a lot, but now I let go because I'm like, your plans are better. You go. I'll just follow. So it's a business that I started in my kitchen actually because I couldn't find a job. When God gave me the vision, even though I wasn't sure about it, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna take the leap of faith. But I was trying to look for a job because when you're going to start a business, you need some kind of money to start, right? To buy your material, etc. So I couldn't find a job. I had applied for job for the past 6 months and no, no, everybody was like, no, you're not qualified, you're not qualified. And that's when I decided, I'm like, okay, I have my daughter, I need to take care of her. So that's when I decided to take the business serious, right? So it started in my kitchen. I use a pot in my kitchen. That's how I started making the candle. And little by little, um, things have been, growing. I spent a year selling with friends and family. I've done 2 years of doing farmers market. And there's time I will go to the farmers market and I don't sell anything. I don't even have money to apply for the following week. But when you're walking with God, He does wonder. He he always sends someone. He always provide. But even it's at the last minute, but there's always someone buying from him. I always get an order from me to get money to pay for my website, my Shopify website, which back then was $29. And I was having a hard time paying it. I didn't have the money because my husband was the only one working. Imagine three people living in one paycheck and you have the mortgage. It was really tough. But I decided to hold on to that vision that God gave me because when I'm looking at the Bible and reading the scripture, He never lied. No, He never lied. What He promised, He will always do it. That's what I kept on. I'm like, if God gave me the vision to start a candle business, it's because He's gonna do something. So whatever's coming my way, I've got to keep pushing. I've got to come through it. Not only for me, for my family, and also for other faith entrepreneurs to show them that what is capable of. It was tough, but here I am.
Oh, here you are to tell the story.
Yes.
Yes. And I see how your faith really kept you centered on those times where it was low points where, I mean, I hope people don't miss this. You were struggling to pay the $29 a month fee for Shopify, and that's real. People don't talk about the early stages and the messy middle. I often hear this quote and I just believe it full-heartedly. Someone said it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. And I think that applies to even things in business. When you see someone who's successful in business and you're like, wow, that's amazing. You don't know what they went through to get where they are today, which is why I love having these type of conversations to talk about how When you're stepping out into entrepreneurship as a Christian, understand your faith will be tested more than ever before, but this is an opportunity for you to exercise this faith. So, when you first were getting started, one of the things you talked about was that you were selling to some of your friends and family. But one of the things that I remember when I was first getting started is that friends and family supported to some degree, but some people did not support, and that was difficult. Did you find the same thing in your experience? And if so, how did you deal with that?
Okay. Um, the friends and family that supported us at the beginning, it was more on my husband's side. On my side, nobody was supporting me really. Some of them, even though I was making candle, they were still buying candle from other stores, right? I didn't get the full support, but which I'm still grateful. Some of them supported, some of them bought one time but never came back, and that's when I realized I'm like, man, I can't count on my people, and I know there's so many people out there. I just need to find a way to get the people for my right product. Because one thing about me, the fact that it took me so long to have a formula to make the candle, I was very confident about my product. I know I have a great product. I just needed to find the right people. And it wasn't my family, it wasn't my friend. And that's when I decided to try out farmers market. So I went online, I Googled it to see if there's any type of event that I can do in person. So just for more people to know me. And that's when I found out about farmers market, and I decided to apply and give it a try. And I did it for 2 years until God said, hey, we're shifting season. Um, I have more for you. And that's when I stopped doing farmers market. But I did it for 2 years, and it wasn't easy at all, Reverend Jocelyn. It was tough, but I needed that to get where I am right now. So if I can do a podcast with you right now, it's because of that. I gain confidence in the farmers market talking to people, because at the farmers market you have to talk. If not, you're not selling. you know. So it was a great experience. It was more personal development for me. It wasn't just about selling. So I praise God for that.
Praise God. Yes, yes, yes. And I think there's some gems in what you shared because, yes, to some extent, friends and family might have supported to some degree. They might have bought one candle or something. But I think that it's important for everyone who's listening to understand that when you're launching a business, the people who are in your inner circle, they might not be your client, your ideal client or your assignment. And they might still love you and care about you, but we can't rely on family and friends for an actual business business plan, if you will. We have to really identify, which is what you were describing, Joanne, who is your ideal client and understanding that you have a good product, you have a good service. And once you identify the method in which you're going to get in front of that ideal client, then those who are your assignment, they will buy and they'll pay for it. And one thing that was very cool to learn about your journey is you went from the farmers markets and somehow you transitioned into corporate gifts. Could you share a little bit about that story and how that came about?
So me started a doing corporate gift was, again, it was God. God used a client actually, which invited us to a networking group, which is BNI. We have been part of BNI for 2 years now. And that's when we get access to the corporate client. So I do Kindle for corporate, for dentists, for lawyers. So what I do is they put their own logo or a message. So if you have a business and you're looking to give your client, a meaningful gift, a candle can be a great option. So that's what we do. And I remember when that first meeting, my husband was the one that went to that meeting, because I was like, no, we don't need that. Sometimes God's going to send someone, but you have to be very open minded to see, okay, this is God moving.
Well, Joanne, it's so much I want to continue asking you about, but it's actually time for a commercial break. So we're going to take a short commercial and then we'll be right back.
You feel called to ministry, but the path forward feels unclear. Fear, doubt, and uncertainty can make the calling feel overwhelming, especially when trying to build something meaningful alone. Written from real ministry experience, this book was created to help women start, grow, and sustain a transformative ministry beyond the walls of the church. Inside are practical strategies for overcoming fear, gaining clarity, building services and teams, generating revenue, and creating a 90-day action plan for growth. More than inspiration, this book is a roadmap for turning a calling into something real and impactful. Sister, Start Your Ministry, a guide to start, grow, and sustain a transformative ministry. Available on Amazon.
All right, everyone. Well, welcome back from our commercial break. I'm here with the amazing Joanne, and she's talking about her journey of growing her kingdom business, the ups, the downs, the good, bad, and the ugly. And she's been talking about how this has been such a process. But some things happened along the way that moved you from being in a position where you did individual sales to you transition into corporate giving. And I would love for you to talk a little bit more about that. How did that come about?
Okay, the corporate gift, I think that's one side of the business that I love a lot because you work less and then you sell more. Let's put it that way. So it was a client actually. It was a client of ours that decided, that was part of a business network that invited us. So when she invited us and we saw the opportunities that we can sell to corporate, to institution, I'm talking about lawyers, doctors. So what we do is that we put their own logo or message and a candle because candle is not only for you to light up to your house and make the house smell good, but candle can also be a meaningful gift. So that's what we do, and we sell to corporate, and it's the best. It was God using that client to shift us to a different direction.
That is great. I'm excited about the fact that you said it is less work, more money. That's great. And in that process, I remember you sharing that this was something where it was God that really gave your husband the idea to do corporate giving. Is that correct? And if so, could you tell the
Yes.
story?
So when the client reached out to us, it was like late when she reached out to us, and my husband was telling me, "Huh, there's this opportunity. There's a meeting tomorrow morning. You have to be there. It's early. I think it was 7 a.m." I'm like, "No, there's no way because it's not on my schedule. I already have my schedule built up for the day. I'm not going." And he later told me that he felt in his heart he needs to go. So he needed to go. So he went to the meeting, and while going to the meeting, he was putting worship song while driving there, and he was praying and telling God, "What am I gonna say to these people? I don't know what to say when I get there. If they ask me question, how do I answer?" And when he got to the meeting, when it was his turn to talk, and somebody asked him, "What do you do?" And he said, "I do corporate gift." And mind you, we were not doing corporate gift at all. We didn't even know anything about doing corporate gift at all. And that's when we started, position ourselves so for when those opportunity came and the corporate side, so we can serve these people. So it was God. It was God. Only Him can give us ideas
I
like that. Because if I don't go to the farmers market, I don't sell. Money is not coming in the business. But there's other ways, that you can still make money in the same business. And He showed us, the candle business, the opportunity that has in the candle business. So we seized that. So
I just love that story because the fact that your husband, Len, shout out to him, he's amazing. He was being just prayerful, like, God, give me the words to say for this meeting, for this opportunity. And I think as believers, we just have to remember that we don't have to come up with all the
right.
answers. Let's be prayerful. God can show us what to say, when to say it, even if we don't know what the word means. He could put it in our mouths to say, and that can position us for our next
Mm-hmm.
blessing.
Yeah, because I thought I was gonna have to do farmers market all my life, but no. I've done it for 2 years and I haven't done farmers market at all. Now I pick which event I wanna do, I'm being very selective. If you see me somewhere, it's because I want to support that person, but I don't it's not like I have to be there because he showed me, like, different ways to bring income in the business.
That's
Yeah.
exciting. And let's talk about the different ways of income because you have your product side where you sell to individuals. Now you have the corporate giving, but then there's other ways in which you generate income from the same business. So let's break this down a
Yeah,
little bit.
and what I am going to share, it's not only for the Kindle business. Any product business you can apply to it. So not only I sell retail, so you can go on my website and get one Kindle, two Kindle. I also do corporate gifting, right? We just spoke about it. I also do wholesale. So if someone wanna buy in bulk and resell, I can do that as well. I also do white labeling. White labeling means, let's say I'm gonna take you as an example. You already have a product or you wanna launch your own business. You wanna have a candle, right? A candle line, but you don't wanna go through that process. So you come to the Chloe Candle, we sit down together, you pick the vase, we pick the scent, I do the testing, I do all the hard work, and then all you need to do is just to put your logo on the candle. So that's another source of revenue for us and the coaching program. The coaching program, we teach others how to start their own candle business. One thing I realized, when I started this journey is that, just enough for all of us. Just because I'm teaching you how to make candle doesn't mean you're gonna take business out of my hands or I'm not gonna reach that many people anymore. I'm not gonna have clients. There will always be enough for all of us. And that's when I decided, to start. I'm teaching my community, how to start their own candle business because candle business is a very demanding business right now because we're talking about scent. People get connected to scent just because you have, a different, let's say you have a restaurant, you can have a candle line, you have a hotel, you can have a candle line as well. Sense is a powerful um, things that people get connected to. And that's what I've been teaching the people in my community, and I love it. I love sharing my knowledge. I'm having fun.
I can tell. Oh, it's from such a place of joy, and it just brings a smile to my face. And I think one of the principles I'm taking from you is that you are operating from an abundance mindset. There is enough for all of us, which is why now you're empowering people and you're empowering people who are from your community as well. And you said your community, but I want to make sure that we highlight that you are also doing it not only in English, where you can teach, but you also are doing this for the Haitian
Yes,
community,
correct.
correct?
Yes.
How fulfilling has that been
Oh
for
my
you?
God. My community, they needed that. They needed that because Kindle can be a side hustle as well. And with what's going on right now in the Haitian community, some of them have been telling me it's because they went through my program that they were able to buy grocery, they were able to pay their light bills because, as you know, right now, with the work permit and all of that stuff, some of them doesn't have a job right now. But the farmers market, we all get access to it. So I've been teaching them, when you have the product, put yourself out there, go on TikTok, on Instagram, do farmers market. There's opportunity. You just gotta, put yourself out there. I've been teaching them that, and it's been working really great. And this is very fulfilling. I go to bed at 9, Reverend Jocelyn. I wake up in the morning. You know, who's next? Who am I going to help today? I get very excited because I see that something that I've taught them, something that is working for me, it's working for them as well. But of course, when you have a coach or you have a mentor, if they tell you something, you just got to do it. You apply it, and it works. I've been doing it since 2020, so still now. So yeah, it's very fulfilling.
Ah, I I love this, and it's exciting, it gets me dancing because I know the feeling to be able to step out on faith and see how God now is moving through your ministry, your kingdom business, where you are fulfilled. Tony Robbins, he talks about how success, oftentimes people define it as getting what you want, but fulfillment is doing what you're made for. Like, and for us, it could be through any type of business. Like, because right, people might look at you and be like, "Oh, it's a candle business," but it's so
It
much
is.
more. Like, you're using what you've learned to equip, to help families support themselves, to build businesses, to have opportunities. And I heard you wake up. How can I help people? How can I serve? And that's what it's about. It's ministry is service that glorifies God, and that can be in any form. And you are living out ministry. And so it's so exciting to see that,
Yeah,
Joanne.
thank you. I oftentimes I said, he's just using the Kindle business. He could have used any businesses. That's why I'm saying that it can apply to any product business. It doesn't have to be candles. What he's doing for me, he can do it for others. I do believe so.
Mhm. I believe that
Yeah.
too. And Joanne, for anyone who is considering launching a product business, is there any advice? Like if you were to talk to the younger Joanne and you would tell her and give her advice, what advice would you offer?
Start where you are. Because one thing about me, I'm a perfectionist. I wanted to, have the perfect label, have a website, and I realized you don't need all of that to start, especially nowadays when you have platform like Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, who's pushing us, who's just want us to be there so they can help us promote our business. So use whatever resources you have. You don't have a website, it's fine. You know, there's so many other ways that you can start with your business, with your product right now. I didn't start with a website. I started selling with friends and family. Now we have TikTok. You can go live. Where you're at right now, what you need to do is just start. And then you can figure it out the rest as you grow.
Mm, great advice. Wise advice. I hope people take it to heart. So, Joanne, if someone was interested in just learning more about your work, what you're doing, buying some candles, where would they find you?
Um, I'm on all social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. It's the same name, The Glory Candle. So they can find me there. They can follow my page and follow my journey and see how I have grown. So if you look at my videos and you go on social media, you're gonna see when I first started, I always try, to document everything and put it out there just to show people, what's possible. It doesn't need to be perfect. You just gotta start where you are and grow. So you will see that on my page.
That's
Everything is
awesome. That's
there.
awesome. And it's there, and it's theglorycandle.com as well for
For
your
my website,
website?
I know you can share that with them later. I brought us a very special for your community, for your people. So if anybody is looking for, candles, corporate, you know, um, personalized candle, or even try out my candles, I do have a special link where they can have two little candle or 2 ounces. All they will need to do is pay the shipping and handling fee, and I will get them to the candle through their door for free. So you can share that with them later on.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so you all check out the link, the special link in the show notes, so that you can take advantage of that. Well, I tell you, Joanne, I've enjoyed you.
Well, thank
I
you.
celebrate you, sis, and I cannot wait to bring you back on the show when you talk about how your business just exploded and you're all in these mainstream stores and people I'm like,
I
"I know the
receive it.
founder."
I receive it.
Girl,
Oh,
thank you so much for spending time with me today. It's been such a
thank you.
joy.
Thank you, Reverend Jocelyn. Again, you're doing an amazing job. Thank you for giving me your platform. We had so many technical issues today, but we pushed through. And thank you for what you're doing. I appreciate you. Keep on pushing.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you so much. And thank you all for tuning in. Ah, she has such a wonderful spirit. And one thing you know for sure, she walks by faith, and we want to encourage you to do the same. So if you are a sister who you know you are called to build a transformative ministry or a kingdom business that goes beyond the walls of the church, we want to encourage you first to download my free ministry launch starter kit at sisterstartyourministry.com. I also have a free training that you can take that's in the show notes that's going to talk about how you can launch your kingdom business. Yes, you can launch a kingdom business that is in alignment with your faith and makes impact. So, all of that and more is in the show notes, along with the free gift that Joanne mentioned. So, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, you stay encouraged, you keep your faith, and I'll see you soon. God bless.